Hey, good morning and welcome to Breakthrough Walls. I'm Ken Walls and I'm your host. And today I have a very, very special guest. Some this is a real life celebrity, y'all. You may have seen her on TV. Her name is Taes Leavitt. I think I said that right. But Tess is amazing. You guys are going to love her. So do me a favor and share this out to everybody you know on every social media platform because we are there on every platform. Share this out and we'll see you guys in just a second. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring Tess on. Tess, welcome to the show.
Hello, Ken. Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited to have you. And let's give a shout out to Kelly Bone for referring you to me. That's so awesome. Thank you, Kelly.
Love Kelly.
I love Kelly too. So we have people from all over the world, including my buddy Joe out in California watching. So
Hello,
Tess,
Joe.
So I started this it's been a little over 5 years ago now. And the most famous person from Toronto that I've had on is Brian Tracy. Do you know Brian Tracy is? He's way before your time, I'm sure. Anyway, he's a very, very
like I knew.
He's a very
And I decided that wasn't authentic. Yes, Brian.
We are off to a great start already. I love it. So Brian is a very famous sales trainer and motivational speaker. So let's start with you telling everybody where you were born and raised.
Okay, that sounds like fun. I was born and raised in Kingston, Ontario, Canada.
Okay.
And I was also raised there until my mom and stepdad moved an hour away to Perth. And then I went back and forth between my dad's house and my mom's house for my whole childhood. And then I went back to Kingston to go to university. So
wow.
Yeah, that's it. That's the shortened form of that. Yeah.
I find it interesting in Canada. It's you go from, you'll have to remind me, but you go from high school to college. Is it called college?
Yeah.
And then
Well,
university?
You can go to college or university. Usually pick one. I mean, you could do both.
Oh,
you can just pick one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you were growing up and so your real dad, I'm assuming your biological father. I always called mine my real dad. I had a stepdad too. So he lived in Kingston and then your mom and stepdad moved, you said an hour away?
An hour away. Yes.
Okay. And Joe Ingram is the very first person to spell your name wrong.
I liked how he said, we don't do the short story here. Okay. I'll give you the long story. You asked for it. I'll give you all the details.
I think here's why I kind of dig in a little bit on the childhood thing, because I truly believe that there's always a person or an event or a string of events that help us become who we become as adults. So I always like to hear like what happened in childhood that you feel like pushed you in the direction you went as an adult.
And Ken, you are talking my language. This is one of my favorite subjects.
Literally,
all I want to do when I meet new people is say, what is it? Like, what was your childhood like? So that I could string together what you're doing now and see how it all fits. Because I think that there's no accidents. And all of these experiences that we have prepare us for what we're here to do. And so I'm into it. Let's get into it, Ken.
Let's get into it, Tess.
I like it.
And Joe's driving. Joe, don't text and drive. What are you doing? Especially in California, you're going to get arrested. So, yeah, let's talk about some of the things that, because I know what it's like to be from a divorced family and grow up with, the split, so to speak. What was that like for you? What are some of the things that happened?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. I never knew my parents as being together because they split up when I was under 1 year old. So I never knew them as being a couple, but my mom quickly got together with my stepdad and had my sister when I was 4. And for that time, I did the thing where I would go back and forth for 1 week and then 1 week, which I'm assuming might have been a little difficult. I don't really remember it. I think for me, it felt normal at that point. But when I was 10, my stepdad got a different job. And so they decided to move an hour away and that I was going to go with them. And yeah, I mean, I remember having a lot of feelings about this. And I was a kid who I was what I would call the good kid. And I felt like feelings were not something that I was allowed to talk about. And so I did a lot of stuffing. Like I was the do this in your fingers so you don't feel things and you stop crying, or bite your cheek, or, cry when nobody's looking. And I actually remember my mom sent me to therapy. I went to like a play therapy thing before the move. And I remember it so clearly. I remember sitting there and looking at that therapist and thinking, I'm not telling you a thing. And I put on a big smile, and she kept, asking me questions. I had to draw pictures. I drew happy pictures. I answered like, I was fine. I was fine. I was fine. I got out, and the therapist said to my mom, like, I think she's actually handling this really well. And my mom gave me a large oatmeal cookie. I remember the cookie, and she was like, okay. She's like, you're doing so well. And I was like, this is how we do it. This is it. Like, I have figured it out. There's no here. Like, nobody knows how I'm actually feeling. And I was actually devastated to be moving. Like, I was leaving my friends. The hardest part was that I only saw my dad every other weekend. And like, my dad he's a special human. He's like one of my best friends. And so to me, it was really sad, but I did not share at all. I was like, I'm not sharing. I'm good. My key word is like, I'm okay. Nothing wrong here. Nothing to see here. I'm good. And I kept that going my whole childhood and all of my 20s. So
and real quick, let's say hi to Kelly. She's here.
Hi,
hey,
Kelly.
We already talked about you, Kelly. We love you too.
We did.
I can't do the heart thing. I've tried. I'm not good, but I love you.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
You talk about I can so relate to that.
Can you?
Oh my gosh. Yes. The hiding your real feelings, the stuffing, the putting on the act that everything's okay. I can remember because my dad wasn't around at all, like for many, many, many years, 20 years. And I remember like making up stories that my dad was this high level cop and you know what I mean? Like, and I would tell my friends that. I remember I really, and from my years of going to a therapist as a kid, I remember, that was just a coping mechanism. Like it's natural. It's not like you're a bad person. It's just, it's a natural thing. So was there a point ever, I mean, at that point that you got the huge oatmeal cookie, which makes me hungry. I love oatmeal cookies. Those are my favorite cookies at Costco, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Get
a good oatmeal cookie.
yeah, Costco makes the best, so Costco should sponsor this show now.
They
But
should.
they should. So
I'm with you.
so when you did you at that moment though, did you how old were you at that point? 10, you said?
10. Yeah.
Okay. So did you really really realize that okay, I this is how you survive. This is the you lie about your real feelings and then you get rewarded for that.
Well, I'm not sure it was a conscious realization. It was definitely the beginning of a pattern that I
Okay.
did forever
Yeah.
up until recently.
Oh wow.
Fingers
Wow.
crossed I've tried to break that one.
We get the honest test today.
It's been a journey, Ken,
I
but
get it. I get it. So you so talk about like from that point you move. You said your dad was like your best friend. Um you move an hour away. Is that what you said? An
an
hour?
hour away, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, you could walk that in like 5 hours.
Yeah, true. Sometimes I wanted to.
Get a bicycle and head that way.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
what was that like though? Because at 10 years old, that's a big that's big. What was that?
Yeah.
What'd you go through with that?
Well, I remember I sort of started developing an inability to sleep. I would lie in bed a lot and not and just be I was quite sad.
Mm,
I got very sad. Like the missing of my dad was intense. And I also was starting a new school, meeting new people, which was also difficult for me.
yeah.
I was a little awkward. I was like a really sweet, awkward child. And
Sweet.
I'm I'm a secret introvert, so for me
Yeah.
like, meeting new people when I was that age was it wasn't it wasn't easy, I wouldn't say, so I kind of went through this really awkward phase for a couple
Yeah.
years, grade 5 and 6, and then I started to find my footing in this new community, which was good, but I went through a lot of, like, all of those feelings that I was sort of stuffing down and not sharing with anybody started
Yeah.
to come out in other ways as they do.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah.
but yeah, I became pretty anxious and really kind of, like, clingy. Like, I was a very big worrier. I thought when I wasn't and this is a thing that I work with kids now, but I was sure that when I was with one parent, something bad was gonna happen to the other one, like they were
Ah,
gonna die. And I had one of my best friends actually, the first friend that I met in grade 5 died in grade 7. And so, yeah, that was a whole other thing. And
what?
so I yeah, yeah, overnight, like suddenly. And I
Oh my.
became just so scared of death. And of course, now I work with kids around grief because I think it's so important.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a best friend. You want me to tell that story?
Yes. I want you to
I
tell.
had a
Hey, Debbie is the second person to misspell your name.
That's okay, because I have it in brackets, though, maybe that's
You
why,
do,
because
you do. That's true. That's and you know
I'm
what? I
okay
got
with
to be
it.
honest, autocorrect hates your name.
I know, I know. But it's seat backwards, that's how we can remember it.
Oh, it is.
Mhm, mhm.
Oh my gosh. Is there a
Yeah,
story
and
behind that?
yeah, so my full name is on my birth certificate is actually Tess Neen, so it's Taesnine, and it's a shortened Ojibwe word, which means "she who holds her hand out to others." And my
Oh,
parents liked that meaning, and so the full word is actually Tess Ninjawat, but
and
they
it's a
changed it to
what? It's a
Tasneem.
what? What
It's an Ojibwe. Um,
what's that?
it's an Ojibwe is like our one of our native.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
So we have Ojibwe, and so it's an
Wow.
Ojibwe word, and it's shortened. So
Wow.
my godfather was Ojibwe,
That's
so they got
beautiful.
the name from him.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. That's beautiful. I love
Who
that.
I'd like to someday find. Anyhow, that's a whole other thing. So she who holds out her hand out to others.
That is
Yeah.
so beautiful. Look, Debbie loves it too. Debbie has a big show. You should be on her show too. So
Okay.
so Tess, talk about the friend story. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So my first friend when I moved to this new school, her name was Leah.
Yeah.
And Leah and I became very close in grade 5 and 6. She was kind of like my go-to person because I remember she was that one person, that one kid who came up and sort of talked to me first. And so we had sleepovers and we did all the things. And then grade 7, so we were very close for a couple of years. Now, I don't remember exactly what happened, but Leah and I got in a fight about something that you do in grade 7, which I
Yeah.
can't be sure now.
Yeah.
And I remember I saw her in the hallway one day and I walked right by her without even looking at her. I just looked at her and didn't acknowledge her, which is even worse. And then the next day, I got to school and a teacher was meeting me at the front door, which was a bit strange. And she told me Leah died the night
Uh,
before. She had yeah,
uh,
yeah, she had a kidney disease that nobody knew about, and she died suddenly. And here's another moment I stuffed my feelings. Let me tell you, I did a lot
uh,
of feeling stuffing. I was sure that I had killed her because when we're kids, we make up the story, right? It's like this happened. I was mean. Like I was mean to her the day before and then she died. So in my head there was a connection there. I'd been bad and
yeah.
yeah, so that was definitely an early trauma for me that I have since been sorting through for sure in my adult life.
You know,
Yeah.
I one of my favorite quotes, and I'm sure I get the my best friend, who was also my cousin, was decapitated in a car accident and died at 18 years old. And I was supposed to
Whew.
be with him that night. It was on his birthday. I was supposed to be with him and I wasn't. So I can relate to the,
Mm.
if I would have been there, whatever, all that stuff.
All of
But
that
one of my
story.
favorite quotes
Wow.
is, no matter how many times we replay the past, we're never going to change it. Can't can't
Yeah.
change the past, right?
Yeah.
So, wow, that's tragic. That's tragic. This is going to sound terrible, not terrible, but I don't see. I mean, your friend obviously was no longer suffering. It didn't, like,
Mhm.
once we die, it's over. It's like, but it's the pain exists for us because of what we could have said or might have said or could have done or whatever, right?
Totally.
Which is
Yeah.
all, I think, kind of just it can make you crazy, like, literally, like,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
so when you so from that point forward, so now we're starting to compile some, in your little 10-year-old or 12-year-old brain, some serious tragedies that have occurred for you, and
Mhm.
you're practicing the stuffing of feelings. Where did things go for you from there? I'm surprised you made it to university, quite honestly.
Well, it was good. I was the good kid, right? So I was like I
Ah,
was I was determined to be very good at school, to be the most, on students council. I was determined to achieve. I was an achiever and a stuffer of feelings. I didn't share much with anybody. I'm really good at supporting other people's feelings. And I really just did that until my 20s. I was like, I'm good. I went to
wow.
school for music and drama at Queen's University. I loved it. And
Wow.
I just stuff was always good. And then I think it's been the kind of a series, and isn't this the way it goes for all of us, perhaps, is that we have feelings that we push
Yeah,
down and then there's a moment when we can't do it anymore and it comes out and we have breakthroughs. We break through walls, one might
yeah,
say again,
yeah,
and we
yeah,
become we become more of who we are because of those things. And so, and that's what I truly believe, that everything that's ever happened to me, for sure, that one would say it's quote unquote not good
Yeah.
or sad or had big feelings attached, has been really part of my journey in a really beautiful, good way. So
So you went through school. Were you in any athletics at all, or were you mainly academics? Or
I'm not really an athlete, Ken.
really? You look
I
athletic.
I can run. I like throwing balls.
Like, I can run to the bathroom if it's an
Yeah, I like
emergency.
jumping in the lake.
Right. Oh my gosh. So
Um,
so you didn't play sports in school?
no, not really.
No.
No.
Dance? Anything like
Dance, I danced. Yeah, I did
did you?
dancing.
Okay.
Yeah, but I
Okay.
like to dance just the way that I wanna dance. I don't like people telling me how to dance.
Oh my
I'm more of a
god.
free spirit dancer.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So you went through high school, you graduated, um
Mhm.
back during I mean, we're kind of fast forwarding a little bit, but was there anything else significant that occurred as in your teenage years that may have impacted you positively or negatively?
I mean, there were a couple things, and I don't know, like, at one point, my first boyfriend, I mean, this is, do we wanna get, how far are we getting into it, Ken?
How as far as you want to go. I'm, your first
I
boyfriend.
mean, I think that there were things that happened that I continued to stuff. My first boyfriend's dad, like, killed himself and 2 other people in a very small community, and
Oh,
that was another thing with death. Like, I think this is why I'm just, I mean, when I tell you
wow.
about what I do now with kids and death, I think that all of this sort of has been, is why I do it, you know? Yeah, it was really tragic, very tragic for our small community.
Wow.
Um, and I was totally unequipped to help my boyfriend. I mean, I was 15,
Oh
and
my
so, and it was just so sad. So that was another stuff. I did some more stuffing and, like, take caretaking.
yep.
Um, and so, yeah, and then I went to university and started I mean, I was really determined that I was going to do something involving the arts and performing. I really loved that, but I also really loved kids. I was sure that I was going to work with kids, but I did not want to be a teacher. So that's how I went into university. Like, "Oh, I'm gonna
Wow.
figure it out." Mhm.
So you graduated from university?
Yeah, graduated from
Okay.
university.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually at
And
that, while I was, yeah, go ahead.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, while I was in university, I met my business partner for the business that I'm still in, and we started a business where we were singing to children, um, and and we started it in third year university. It was part of a class project, and then we thought, like, oh, well, let's just do this more. We started booking shows in our last year of university, and then when we graduated, I said, well, I don't want to do this half time. So we're either doing this full time or we're not doing it at all, because
Yeah.
I'm not interested in doing, like, starting a business and then also waitressing on the side to make money, because I know that that time that I would be waitressing or doing whatever else would be taking away from building this business. So we're either in or we're out. And so we both decided to go in. Then we got married. That
To
was,
each other.
to each other. Then we got divorced several years later, but that's a whole other thing.
No, you did not.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. He's my best friend, but we
My
we were so young, Ken. It was too young. And
though,
we were
how
confused.
we know everything at that age, and nobody can tell us any
I
different.
know.
So
I know. That's the thing, right? And we're supposed to be together. We're supposed to be making this music together. We're supposed to be doing this together. We
yeah,
just got it confused, you know? We
it
were we
happens.
were we were 21.
Wow.
So, yeah.
And you said waitressing, which I believe the PC way to say it now is serving.
Oh, yeah.
Not allowed
That's
to
a
say
good point, Ken. I didn't get that right. You're right.
I'm totally kidding.
When I did it was definitely a waitressing time. You're right, though.
I'm the
serving.
least PC person you're ever gonna meet. So, but so okay, and I have in the background. I'm gonna show it here in a minute, and then you're gonna tell me what to click on. But your YouTube channel for Splash and Boots, and we're gonna talk about that in a minute. But I want to know. I mean, children love music. Both my daughters are huge. They love music. One's 17 and one's 12. Well, she'll be 13 here in a minute, which is another unbelievable. But anyway, and the teenage years with a girl, like,
prepare.
We could go. That could be a whole nother episode.
That could be a whole episode.
Like, hello, hormones, and like I'm like, where did you put my daughter? Who are you? But so talk about the what in the world inspired you or drove you to start singing for children? I mean, adults like music too.
Oh yeah, but I don't like adults. Okay, I'm mostly joking. But to be honest, I was so sure that I did never wanted to sing in front of adults ever.
Really?
And I mean, I took my performance in vocal music, so I was singing in front of adults, and I did not like it one bit. I was like, I'm good. Give me the children. I love kids. I've always because I love the spirits of children. I love how honest they are. I love that when you do a show for kids and they are bored, they will get up and leave. They will tell you, like, I'm bored. Like, I'm gonna go pee. Like, they are not polite. They don't stuff any feelings in those moments. They just tell you, and they're so present and so alive. And there's no, like, I just wanted to spend my whole life. Since I was a little kid, all I wanted to do was babysit. I was like, just give me the kids, sit me at the kids' table. When I grew up, I was like, I'm going to be over here with the children. You guys have your adult conversation. I'm a kid person. And so I always wanted to work with kids. And then I loved music. My granddads and my mom, like, I come from a really musical family. So music was always something I wanted to do. So to me, it was like, perfect. We're going to put all this together and do this. And I loved it. Like, I still love it. I love it so much. And Nick and I, my business partner and ex-husband.
That's crazy. Yeah. It's not crazy. It's just
a whole journey.
Say that is like, wow.
Oh yeah. It's all possible though. I am such a believer in being able to work through anything. And we worked through that. We were married for 10 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we've been doing
married at 12.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, Tess. Okay, so, and how does one go about, I mean, starting a business means that you are doing something to generate a profit and an income, right? How does one start a business singing to children that makes money?
That's a great question. Well, we didn't for a long time.
I mean, you're like stealing their lunch money and then singing to them.
Give me that opportunity. I'll sing you a song for that.
Yeah.
Well, we were sort of figuring it out. We started doing conferences where we would showcase and then get hired at, we started out doing a lot of fairs. So there's this unknown industry in the kids music world where you go to a fair for 5 days or 10 days and you perform, 3 times a day and they pay you pretty well. So we just always said, like, we had this little mantra that we said because we always wanted a television show. Because I said, I want to be able to reach as many children as possible. And that's not going to be sort of going from library to library.
Right.
performing for 20 kids. So we said we got to make the dough so that we can get the show, get the television show. So we did 200 shows a year, and I'm not joking. We were traveling from one side of Canada to the other, working like just doing so many shows for so few people just to make
Wow.
money and also to get the experience. We did this for years. And yeah, and that was kind of how we started. We were doing a lot of fairs. And then we started moving a little bit into theaters. Like that was like the step up, was doing theater shows. We started getting asked to do that. And then we got the television show, which helped out with all of the money and the touring and all of that.
Okay, that is so cool. So I can I just share some images from your show?
Hmm.
I
Sure.
I can't show video because it may I can't show it's copyrighted. So even though you're
Oh,
on
I
here,
don't care.
I know, but they'll
Okay, okay.
YouTube cares and they'll
Right.
ding me, and I hate
Mm,
it when that
fair.
happens.
I hate that too. Yeah.
It's
Okay.
like I have the actual person on here, YouTube. What's wrong with you? So let me pull this. I want to share the screen here. So this
Mm.
is some of the images, right?
Mhm.
Am I looking at yeah, I'm looking at the
Yeah,
right thing.
yeah, yeah.
That is so cool. I love the colors.
Thank you.
Even though I'm a Buckeyes fan and I'd rather it be scarlet and gray instead of Michigan colors. I'm kidding. So, and then your YouTube channel, this is yours, right?
Yeah, yeah. Mm.
This is really cool. So, talk about the when you got to the TV show. My wife was in, she ran the Ohio State Fair for 8 years. She was the marketing director there. And then she loves the fair world.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
talk about some of that. Were you traveling around to fairs just in Canada, eh? Did you see what I did
Yeah,
there?
eh? Yeah, I did, I liked it. Yeah, it was mostly in Canada. We did some international shows right off the bat. We went to, like, the Middle East and did some shows. We were in California, we did Bermuda and Australia, so we have traveled and done shows, but, mostly we did Canada right at the beginning,
Yeah.
and then we actually we were so convinced that we needed to have a television show that we spent all of our money building a set in a chicken barn, which was
What?
Nick's parents' chicken barn, and we built our own set, and we filmed our own television show, and then we went into a couple different networks, and we were like, "We made a show." This is really early, like, the show is
Wow.
hilarious when I look at it. It's so funny, like, not good. I mean, not bad, just funny, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
It was just us lots of years ago, and they were like, "We like you, but you're not ready for this yet." And then 2 years later, we did it again. We built another set, and boy, this time we really upgraded. We did a great job. We had special guests in, and we did a really good job. We went back to the network, to Treehouse, and we were like, "Hey, we got this show." And they said, "We want you to be the hosts of our network." And we said, "What if we just get our own show?" Better idea. And we gave them our pilot, and they said yes.
Wow.
And yeah, but you know what, kind of like we worked really hard to get there. Sometimes I don't like it when people say, like when we were first starting out, I find it not that helpful when people say, "Yeah, we just did this thing and then bam, we got the show." I'm like, "No, we wanted that show for 10 years. We put it into the universe. We did things." I was like writing letters to myself after we gotten it. I did all of the things. We had vision boards. We had, you know, we put that out there and then it came back at the right time. But I really believe in putting out what you want and it will always come to you. So that's what we
Okay.
did.
We
Mhm.
just turned the corner because you are speaking my language now. I love
Great.
that. So talk about that. Let's go off of the singing to kids for a moment and
Yeah, great.
talk about, and my wife is watching. There's Jill watching. So um
Hi, Jill.
talk about talk about that. Why did you decide on creating vision boards, and why do you believe so much in the putting it out there thing? What caused that?
Well, it's been an evolution, if I'm honest. I think that
Okay.
I started off really being a realist, and then I started getting into doing more reading. I did the one that everybody does. I read The Secret. I did that whole land, and then from there, it's been a real, I would say, spiritual journey towards leaning into that which we cannot see. And I really believe that there are so many things that we have no idea about, and that if we get ourselves into the right energy and into the right alignment of what we want and who we want to become and be, then everything will line up for us. And I mean, it's for me now, it's just every day is, how do I get into alignment? How do I do things that make my heart feel good? And when I'm in that space, then everything else that I want comes to me. And it's less about trying, which is that's how I started this journey. It was like work hard, try, try. And then throughout the evolution of getting the Treehouse show, we started doing things like vision boards because we were reading books and learning about that side of the world and being alive. And I mean, it worked, right? like
Right.
like we wrote that letter. I made Nick, he thought I was crazy, but I was like, you got to read this letter out loud. I read it on the
Right.
way to the meeting. I read it, like, I was just like reading the letter and really getting into the energy of having received the show already.
Yep.
And so then when we did, I was like, yeah, of course we did. And that's how it's been, like, for all of the things that we keep getting. I have this like, yeah, of course that happened. Like, that's what's happening, because that's what I'm creating. We all create our lives. And yeah, I mean, I believe it more than I believe anything. And it's every day it becomes more real to me. Like, as I get older and as things happen, I'm just like, okay, created that. I created that. And I mean, I created the not so good things too. And what do I get to learn from those? And I mean, life is just so much better when you believe in that. To me, I'm just
It's
like, this is a fun game now. Like, here we go. What are we going to do today? You know?
wow. That's Are you like stalking my Facebook page? Because I talk this is what
Is
I
this a
post about all the time, like all the time.
No, I didn't know that.
That
Well,
is
Kelly said that
crazy.
we needed to talk. So
Yeah.
she
So
knows us both, so she must have known.
yes, yes. I think that wow. I think I posted that yesterday. Like, you create your life.
Really?
You do. Like, you literally create, and
Oh,
people are
I
like
know.
sitting around thinking, No, I'm waiting on Jesus to create my life." And I'm a Christian. But I don't think Jesus is sitting there going, "All right, dude, here it comes, ready, you're gonna win the lottery." It's not like that. It's like we
No,
get to create our own life. And I think that if people would get that, we'd be in a way
I
different
know.
world.
I know. I
Way
know.
different.
See, Ken, I wanna teach this to children, because then we're starting it early,
I love that.
you know?
Okay, so um, can I coach you?
Yeah,
Don't
I'm
say I
here, I'm
want to
ready.
teach this to children. Say
Oh, I
I
am
am
teaching
teaching
this.
this to
Oh, yeah,
children.
okay, yeah, good, good. I am doing that. I am doing that, and I actually am. You're right.
I know.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
okay.
I
So
know.
talk about you made the because earlier you were saying I work with children on death and all of these things. So talk about that. It's not just through your music and your television show, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, so then what happened is we're doing the TV show, and Nick and I, during this time, we're realizing that we're more business partners than romantic partners. We were going through, I mean, as you can imagine, it was quite chaotic. It was quite difficult in those moments, when we were getting divorced, and we were also doing this quite public thing. Um
On
And so in that
television.
time yeah, well, we weren't getting divorced on television, but yeah.
Right, right.
We were trying to hide it. Again, I was trying to stuff it down. I was like, "Nobody needs to know about this, gonna hide
Mhm.
it." We hid it for years and years. But anyhow, our divorce is out of the closet. But we
I
spent
thought
that
you were
time.
coming out on my show, like, with all this.
Yes. Ta-da!
Yeah,
No.
okay. So
Um
it's been published.
but I was going through a lot of big feelings, and
Yeah,
I dove headfirst. Like, I am not one to I do all of the things. I take all of the courses, I take all of the therapy. If when something comes up in my life, I'm like, "Let's do this." Like, sign me up for everything.
yeah,
So I went headfirst into meditation and mindfulness, and I was just in this on this journey of trying to move through these big feelings without literally drowning. Because there were moments when I thought, I'm drowning. I'm not sure I can get out of this in this time."
yeah,
And so I went into mindfulness meditation, and during that journey, those couple of years, I kept having this feeling like, I need to teach this to kids. Like, kids
yeah,
need to know this. Why
yep,
are we not teaching kids about how to listen to their heart and how to be still and quiet um, and move through their own feelings? And so I locked myself in my house with a friend of mine who makes music for 5 days, and we made 33 meditations for children, but really active on their feet, moving through feelings kind of meditations. And it was just like I could not stop. I was having the best time of my life, and I thought, this is what I need to be doing. And I felt it in my soul. There was nothing more clear to me. And from there, I this was before COVID, about 6 months before COVID hit.
yeah.
And then when COVID came, of course, all of our shows, we'd been traveling, we were doing tons of traveling with Splash and Boots. All of our shows were canceled. I suddenly had all this time.
Mm,
So I started a new business called The Big Heart Journey, which is basically helping children through their feelings, using, various resilience practices, mindfulness techniques, connecting them to their hearts. I was doing online coaching, and that's been my new sort of thing over the past couple of years. And oh, Ken, I love it. I love it so much. And yeah, so part of that is doing support groups around grief. I find that one of the biggest feelings that kids come with and their parents don't know how to support them is around grief. And so I do online programs for that. I'm like really excited about all the things that are coming around what else I'm going to be doing with this. But yeah, I really love it. I love talking to kids about their feelings.
what is there an age range that you like to stay in with the kids?
Well, in my online programs, I have kids as young as 3. And then yeah, and a lot of the time the little ones have an older sibling that's also in the program. And right now I have kids up to 18. I have some kids who are actually I actually have people up to 27. I have kids with special abilities who join us who are a little older. Um, and when I've started going into schools and doing talks, and when I do that, it'll be up to grade 8. So anywhere from K to 8.
That is
Yeah.
so cool. That is so cool. Are you still doing Splash and Boots though?
Yes. Yeah. I
Okay.
am doing this grand juggling act at the moment.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's really cool. Well, though, if you're doing anything in life besides existing, um, you're everybody's juggling, right? Like everybody's
Yeah.
like we're all
Mhm.
trying to. I love because I know people. I know I'm friends with billionaires. I'm friends with mega millionaires, and I'm friends with people who don't have two pennies to rub together. And I think that I find it interesting that there are people who put themselves up on like we're all just trying to figure this
Oh,
out.
yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
life. man. Like, don't take it so
Oh, yeah.
serious. Like, it's
Oh,
light,
Ken, now you're talking my language. I'm like, and
right?
nothing has to be that serious. No,
Nothing. And
I am with you
I
on
have
that.
a saying, if it's not fun, I ain't doing it.
Ken, me too. The
Really?
whole point is to have fun. Yes, I am. I always say, like, let's just, how can we make this lighter? How can this be more
Right.
fun? What are we doing? Like, we're just here. We're this weird thing on a planet that's spinning around. We
Yeah.
don't know anything. Like, just have a good time and let go of everything else. That's
Yeah.
what my kind of goal is. Just have a fun time.
I love it. I and I've you don't know this about me, but I've meditated every day of my life for the last 19
Mm,
years.
wow.
Every
I
day
love
of my
that.
life. Yeah. I don't
I love
it's a
that.
non-negotiable. It's what I do every day.
Yeah, I
So
feel the
talk
same way.
about you said that we're gonna go back to earlier in the interview. You said I stuffed my feelings. I'm not gonna get it 100%. I stuffed my feelings and lied about my feelings or whatever,
Mhm.
until recently. What was the recently moment? What was the moment? What was the
Mm,
thing that happened recently that kinda woke you up?
mm. That's a good question.
Was there
Well,
a thing?
yeah, I'm in a new relationship now,
Okay.
um,
Okay.
with with somebody who I really love, and we are definitely supposed to be together. And, we have been this is where I'm gonna really get into it, Ken. I don't talk about this, so here we go. I'm gonna talk about
Did
it.
do you
But,
don't have to.
I know, but I want to.
Okay.
It's good. I actually made some meditations on it the other day, and I put them out into the world, so, I mean, somebody somewhere knows about it, so I'm gonna share.
Awesome.
So we've been on a journey to meet our baby, a fertility journey, if you will, and,
Yeah.
yeah, it's been hard. It's not. I thought when I wanted to get pregnant, I would just get pregnant. I mean, I've spent my whole life trying not to get pregnant. So I thought that when I wanted to do it, it was just gonna happen and that was gonna just be a thing.
Right.
So and we just knew we were going to have a baby together and that we were each other's person and um so we've been on this sort of fertility. We've done a lot of fertility treatments. I just did my last round of IVF in January.
Wow.
Um, and actually when this first happened, when it first started happening, I said, I am not going to tell anybody about this. I am going to stuff that down and not share it. And that was a conscious decision. I actually said that out loud to Peter. I was like, I'm not telling anybody about this. I'm just going to handle it myself. And then I realized that I couldn't actually do that because I was getting pulled underwater. I like to think of it like I was drowning. The feelings were so big and I had all of this sort of like I work with children, how is this happening to me? I love kids more than anyone. And I was going really dark. Probably some of my
Mm.
darkest moments have been throughout this process. And I believe that when we have darkness, it's like a trampoline and we can the lightness on the other side of it is brighter than it could have been if we didn't have the darkness. And now I can actually say in this moment, a couple of years after we started this journey that this has been the most growth inducing thing that has ever happened. And I am fully grateful for it,
Wow.
for my future baby. I
Wow.
thank them in advance because this has been just insanely, I have learned more than I ever could have asked to learn in a quicker amount of time, which I'm sure is why it's happened. And so part of that, what we started with this was the not stuffing the feelings anymore, was that I realized that if I didn't if I kept stuffing this down, I wasn't gonna be able to lead the life that I wanna lead. Um, and that I was getting these signs from, with this baby thing was definitely a wake-up call for me. a wake-up call that was like, hey, there's still feeling like you've got feelings in there that you've been stuffing since you were a kid. And so the past 2 years has been a journey of like pulling, looking at them, thanking them, releasing them, and like over and over and over again. I've been doing that. I've been going to, like, Peter and I have been doing this amazing therapy together. And honestly, it's just been, it's been good. And like, and Kelly's like, no more stuffing down. Yes, Kelly, no more stuffing down. But it's been, and I can say now that, like, I know that I'll have a baby. However, I have a baby. Like, there's a baby coming into my life, and I don't get to control when or how that happens. And I'm good with that, which is remarkable that I can say that. I'm not crying. I don't feel attached. I'm just good. I know they're coming, and I know that this is the journey that I'm on, and I'm supposed to be on it. So,
and you know, you know, you realize you keep saying they're coming.
yeah, I'm gonna have two.
You're gonna have twins or triplets, quadruplets.
Yeah. Wait for it.
Yeah. Here it comes. You wanted babies.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We'll talk in a year. I'll have 6 of them. Like, I don't know, Kevin. I kept saying there.
Yeah, let's
They
have
just
you
kept
and your
coming.
basketball team on the show. Like,
Yeah.
so wow, that is that. And Kelly is putting it out there too. There are so many babies in your life. So when you work with children, and I don't want to get off the baby fairy godmother. I love that. Um, when you're working with, how do I ask this? How do you market? How do you get the word out to attract these children that need your help? How do you attract them into your life and into your business? I'm sure the kids don't show up with credit cards. So the parents, I'm assuming, do, and they want to hire you to work with their kids. So how does that happen? How did you even decide to get into that? Where did it like?
Well, it started during COVID. I was just offering it all for free. I was doing sort of online groups just
Okay.
weekly
Yeah.
because I knew that there were so many kids. I get emails. I mean, a lot of people came from Splash and Boots and they know me as Boots. And so they were joining because their kids had big feelings and they know me. So it was an easy sort of transition. And to be honest, I'm sort of figuring out the business side of it all. I I have asked the universe to sort this out for me, because I have visions of where this can go, and I'm looking for the right, either business partner or collaboration
Yeah.
to. I mean, I like talking to kids. I don't. When you say the word marketing, I literally want to crawl under this desk and hide. So, ideally, someone else takes that over.
Right.
I'm like,
Right.
I'm gonna make the content for kids. I have just like there's so many ideas that I have with the AI that's coming out and how we can support kids on sort of a larger scale. So it's not so much me doing small groups. I love doing that. I can still keep doing that. But how can I take this idea that when a kid has a big feeling, there's somewhere that they can go and they'll be supported through that feeling and given a tool that they can then start using in their life in that moment, right?
Yeah.
So in my brain, I'm just like putting it together of how that can be a large scale thing where any kid anywhere can have access to it. So that's what I
Wow.
put out there, and I'm just waiting for it to come in with my baby.
So that's so awesome. I can't wait to hear about the baby, or babies. So let me ask you this, and I ask everybody. I can't believe we're coming to the end already. We've been on here for
Mhm.
54 minutes already. Jeez. Um, I always ask, because this is Breakthrough Walls.
Mhm.
You've certainly had your fair share of challenges in building your business and creating. I mean, you literally created something out of thin air. I mean, and I know it wasn't overnight, and I know it wasn't easy, but it's a genre in the business world, if you would, that I don't think there's a lot of players that woke up one day and said, I'm going to make music for kids and make that a business and get a TV show and all the stuff, like, and build a set in a barn and like, so my question is twofold. Um, Number one, I believe that money money is unbelievably important in life. It's
Yeah.
Zig Ziglar used to say, money ain't everything, but it ranks right up there with oxygen.
Mhm.
And so what do you think, in your opinion, stops people from experiencing, number one, real financial success, and number
Mhm.
two, and I think they're related, freedom and happiness and joy in life?
Mm. Great questions, Ken. Well, I think that what stops both of these from happening, and I think they are completely 100% connected, is our own stuff. It's taking that stuff out. It's what I've been talking about, like going in and finding those feelings that have been stuffed down and looking at them and releasing them and letting go of those. We have so many blocks as humans that we create. We create it all. And the more we stuff those feelings down, the more we're blocking ourselves from our own happiness and our own well-being and abundance. And I really believe that yeah, that's our number one thing. We create it all ourselves with the things that we're not dealing with the feelings that we're hiding. And once we
Mm,
get into that and pull it out and look at it, then that's when we're creating this sort of free channel of money and happiness. And I think that part of that is what you were talking about, Ken. It's like, get quiet, meditate, get connected to something bigger than you. Because when we can connect into the magic of, just being here, the fact that we're here is just a magical thing, right? And when we can connect to that, then we're plugging ourselves into abundance and money and happiness and fun and freedom and all of that.
I love that. I mean, when you were born into this world, you literally, the odds of actually being born, from the sperm hitting the egg and then the cell transformation and making a baby and the
Oh, it's
miracle,
insane.
it's
Yeah.
miraculous. It's 1
Yeah.
in 400 trillion is the odds of being born. And people live their lives like, they'll spend more time standing in line to buy a lottery ticket than they do at doing what you just said, and that is creating vision boards and literally writing out, like, this is what I want my life to be, and
Mhm.
then doing the stuff to make it that. And Tess, you are amazing, first off. Second, where can everybody, what's your website? I should have asked you that before we got started.
That's
I'm
okay.
so sorry.
No, it's all
Jeez.
good.
What's your
It's,
website?
bigheartjourney.com and splashandboots.com.
Bigheartjourney.com and
Splashandboots.com.
N, the letter N,
Yeah.
slash
Yeah.
N boots.com. So
Yeah.
I'm going to scroll. Nope.
Oh,
Hang
look
on
at
a minute.
that. You are so
Hang on.
fancy, Ken. I'm like,
Hang.
do I get to interview you now?
I'm
I
about
just
to
wanna
be
ask you lots of questions.
fancier. Yeah. There we go.
Ooh, that's
There it
nice.
is. And if
Wow.
some lovely person in the comments would type those in with the www into the comments, so they're
Mm.
clickable from the comments, I would see, my wife is already on it. She's already on.
Jill.
Jill
Thanks, Jill.
is amazing. So, What about social media? Where's the best place to
Um,
follow you on social?
Instagram, Big Heart
Instagram?
Journey, or Splash
Yeah.
and Boots. Facebook also exists.
Yeah. Wow.
I'm I think I should start TikTok, but I haven't done it yet. I'm waiting for the inspiration.
You should start TikTok.
Yeah, I should. I think you
Yeah.
can. Maybe you are my inspiration there. This is what I needed.
My daughters both live on
I know.
TikTok. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's a real
So
thing.
Tess, thank you for being on today and sharing your beautiful heart and your story and your journey. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the audience? What would you like to leave people with today that would inspire them to reach for bigger levels in life?
Mm. Well, I think I would like to say that I believe that inside of all of us, there is this magical place called our hearts. And if we spend enough time just being quiet and listening to our own heartbeat, that we will get all of the things that we're looking for and all of the peace and happiness and abundance and family and just that life that we want is only accessible to us through finding that quiet space. And yeah, I just think being able to tune into that magic is the best thing we've got.
I love that. I love that. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for being on today and being so awesome and transparent. And I just love your energy. So, everybody watching or listening, go to bigheartjourney.com or splashinboots.com and follow Tess everywhere on all the socials, including TikTok soon, I believe. Uh,
I think it exists now. There's just so much going on there.
yeah. So follow Tess everywhere. And Kelly, again, thank you so much for referring Tess and I together. This has been awesome. And Tess, stay with me. I'm going to end
Okay.
the live stream. But thank you to everybody. And if you have not shared this out yet, you can redeem yourself and go ahead and share this out now. So, but thank you to everyone. And Tess, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ken. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll see you all later. Bye bye.